Good morning. I was thinking this past week and reminiscing as we have enough time to do that. And my thoughts went back to 1965, September 27th to be exact. And I stood in an enlistment center in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I raised my right hand and I took an oath of enlistment. And it went like this. I, Donald Lee Weigel, do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me, according to the regulations of the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So help me God. And for the next 12 years, 7 months, and 21 days, I wore the uniform of the United States soldier proudly. And it all started in basic training. And I took basic training at Fort Dix, New Jersey. And when I got off the bus, there was a man named Sergeant Williams. He was a drill instructor. When we got off that bus, they were shouting and hollering and screaming and telling us to move, move, move. And we all got in a line, and Sergeant Williams stood before us and he said, "Look, you're mine. I have you for the next 8 weeks. And during those 8 weeks, I'm going to teach you certain things and tell you certain things. And at the end of this 8 weeks, you're no longer going to be an individual. You're going to be a unit. When one turns to the right, you're all going to turn to the right. You're going to do a right face. You're going to do a left face. You're going to do whatever I tell you to do to become that unit." And during that time, there was some good times and some trying times. But at the end of that time, we had to take some tests. And one of the tests we had to take was our PT test. One of the things, the obstacle course we had to do, it was called the bars. And one of the young men there, he didn't have the arm strength to go across those bars. And you had to do a certain amount. If you didn't pass the test, you were put in the next training class that would come up. And so I looked at a buddy of mine, and he looked at me, and we saw him struggling, so we ran up and we got underneath him and put him on our shoulders. And he reached up and he's walking those bars, and we made sure that he had enough. Automatically, we were working as a unit. And when we got done, we graduated, went to Fort Devens, Massachusetts. And there I found out something pretty strange. They had the same mission statement. You're going to help the person in front of you, the person behind you, the person to the right of you, the person to the left of you, to get the mission done, no matter what the cost is. And after that training, I went to Vietnam. And I guess you already know the same mission statement was there. And we helped each other to get the mission done, no matter what it was. Those 12 years, 7 months, and 21 days, that's what I did. In August of 1973, in my home in Warrenton, Virginia, I joined another army. I didn't raise my right hand and say an oath. I bowed my knee. And when I bowed my knee, I said this: Lord, I thank you for loving me. I'm a sinner. I deserve hell. But you sent your Son to die for me. And right now, by faith, I believe that Jesus died, was buried, and rose again. And that night, I became a soldier for the Lord Jesus Christ. And for the past 47 years, been in different churches, known a lot of pastors and deacons and church members, and some of the churches had mission statements. Some of the churches did not. But what I found out was, you were on your own. I became an individual again. It wasn't, let's do this together. It was, you would come and you would sit and you'd hear the sermon and you'd get up and you'd go home. And you'd come back to the next service and you'd go through the same thing. There was no mission statement. There was nothing to follow. But then, I actually started studying my Bible. And guess what? That army that I joined back in 1973, they had a book. This. And when I started studying that, I started noticing some things. The fact there are some things that we need to do. That we no longer were individuals, but that we were a unit. I think of Bible Baptist Church here in El Reno. Betty and I began to visit, and in time we joined. And there were times when I walked in and I felt as an individual and walked out as an individual. But in time, it came to the point of, we're not individuals. We have a book. We have a mission statement. We're soldiers. You say, Don, we're not soldiers. Then why, when Paul wrote to the Corinthian church in 1 Corinthians chapter 16, verse 13, he said, watch ye. Let's be on guard. Stand fast in the faith. Know what you believe and know why you believe it and stand on it. Quit you like men, which is a military statement saying, face the enemy and march. And the last is, be strong. Be strong. That's part of our mission statement, or a statement for this year. Ephesians 6:10. Be strong in the Lord. There are Sundays when I walked into Bible Baptist and I literally felt like that young man up on the bars. My arms wasn't strong enough to carry the weight. But as soon as I walked in the door and walked down the hall or walked into a classroom, there's someone that said something of encouragement. They got up underneath me and I was able to walk and use my hands and get down those bars. Just not one person. It just wasn't the pastor. It was other members. This is what I've noticed in the last few months at Bible Baptist. People becoming a unit. People saying, I see a job that needs to be done, and we need to get it done. Teaching different classes, singing specials, doing things out in the parking lot to get things ready for the drive-in church services. Just being able to drive in and someone saying, hey, park over there, do this, do that. It's encouraging to see a unit. Simply this, helping the person in front of you and the person behind you and the person to the right of you and the person to the left of you. Get the mission done no matter what the cost. Christ paid the cost no matter what it was. He gave his life for us. Thank you for Bible Baptist Church and her members. You've encouraged an old man. Thank you. I'm back. The other evening, a young man asked me, Don, why did you stay in the military for 12 years, 7 months, and 21 days? Very simple answer came out of my mouth. I loved it. If I could be truthful with you, which I am, I still love it. Don, how do we get this church, Bible Baptist, to become one unit? It's the answer. We love it. We love it. I love the military because there was a job to get done, and at the end of the day, you could see that job being done. There was an accomplishment. At Bible Baptist, things are getting done. Not just things, but the work of Christ is getting done. It's getting accomplished. That's why I love it. Has it always been that way? I think I told you at the beginning. There's times when I walked into Bible Baptist as an individual and walked out as an individual. That's not happening anymore. Become part of a unit that glorifies God. There was a military unit that I was in, and we said, as a motto, we won't fight and you can't make us. And in church sometimes we have that same attitude. We won't worship and you can't make us. We won't sing and you can't make us. We won't teach and you can't make us. Bad attitude. We will fight. We'll fight the fight because there's a job to be done.